in the year and a half or so now that I've spent most of my time in Israel, and I've spent a lot of time there before, but particularly since the 7th, I learned an awful lot of things. I spoke with endless numbers of survivors, of victims' families, families of the kidnapped, and also perhaps most informing for me in a way was that I got to spend so much time embedded with the IDF, the remarkable young men and women of the IDF. And I mention that really because it always feels to me slightly obscene to be said to have any courage, because I really think the world needs to know that it's these young men and women who have the real courage in our time. And when I think of the underlying defamation, of all the defamations which we've heard about tonight, of all of the lies, the smears, the untruths, and much more spread about Israel, perhaps most painful in a way is the way in which those young men and women are smeared and lied about and misrepresented on a daily basis by people who can't possibly realize what these people have to go through. And go through not by choice, but because they know that they must do this if they are to defend their people, their country, their way of life, and indeed, in my view, the whole of the civilized world. I often think, though, of the flip side of this. What would it be like if more young people in the West, in particular, realized that the young men and women in Israel who they're encouraged to defame and lie about are actually people that they have an enormous amount to learn from? That in fact, among young people from campuses across the West, in cities like New York, where I live, to the streets of almost every European city, young people have been taught to dislike, to libel, and to lie about their contemporaries. And I wonder what it would be, I just finish this with this thought, I wonder what it would be if instead of that they realized how much they could learn from their contemporaries. Imagine if they could meet them instead of just talking about them and having great theories about them. And one of the things it's been my great honor to have in recent years is an alarmingly large number of rabbis in my life, which, since I'm not Jewish, I definitely have attended synagogue more often than many of my Jewish friends, and have more rabbis than I think almost any Jew I know. But I mention that it's a great honor because of the amount that I've been able to learn from them in private conversation, public dialogues, and much more. And I just wanted to share one thing with you in particular this evening, which is we live in an age which has many problems, many technological problems, many moral problems, as ever. It's always like that to some extent. But one of the abiding things in our age as well is a form of cynicism that people are told as people who have no right to be cynical, by the way. You could say that at a certain point in life you have a right to be slightly cynical. But to be cynical and young, to believe that you understand everything in a world you don't yet know, is a true waste of human talent and human opportunity. I was talking about this recently with one of my rabbis, and he said something to me I just wanted to share with you this evening as well, because it's been much on my mind. We were talking about Hebrew, which I know even less well than French, and we were talking in particular about the Hebrew word for Zionism, which, and the ambassador among many others maybe can correct me on this, the Hebrew for Zionism is ציונות. I think I've got that right. ציונות. And my friend said to me, Douglas, it's a very interesting thing because there's another word in Hebrew that's very close to that, which is צייניות. צייניות. Cynicism. He said the interesting thing about this is, it's almost like God has given us a sign here. The words are very close together, but here's the thing, they are opposites. The cynic will do nothing with his days. Everything is jaded. Their life is full of disbelief. They have low opinions of everyone and low expectations about everything. But the Zionist cannot afford to have these low expectations. The Zionist cannot afford all of these cheap and shallow tricks. Zion, indeed, cannot be built or redeemed by cynics. It will be redeemed by Zionists. And of all of the things I think at this time, I go back to those remarkable people in Israel I've had the honor of spending so much of the last year and a half with, who know this truth instinctively, who don't need to be told it by a rabbi, but demonstrate daily what it is to actually build and to fight for something you love. So thank you.